Welcome class to another biomechanics lesson. The topic of this class will be movement patterns of the lower extremities. Before we continue, we must talk about a couple key points: flexion, extension, rotation, internal rotation, external rotation, abduction and adduction. Flexion is the close of an angle at any joint. So for example, if I want to close this or my elbow, I will flex my elbow, right? The opposite of that is extension, which is opening of any angle at a joint. Okay, guys, you remember that? To continue, we have internal rotation. Internal rotation usually happens at the hip, where the femur turns internally into the ox coxae, and external rotation is the opposite, where the femur turns outwards. Abduction is movement or any movement away from the body. Abduction, abduction. Whereas adduction is movement inwards to the body. Adduction, adduction. A key way to remember this is the add. Add to your body. Today we will be dealing with three major joints: the hip joint, the knee joint, and the ankle joint. At these joints, flexion and extension can take place. Only at the hip joint, abduction, adduction, internal and external rotation happens. First we'll begin with the hip joint. The hip joint is a ball and socket joint, or as we learned, a spheroidal joint. As previously mentioned, 6 actions or movement can happen at this joint. These are flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, internal and external rotation. The muscles responsible for flexion are the iliacus and the iliopsoas group muscles. Synergist muscles that could help with the flexion of the hip are the rectus femoris, the pectineus, and the sartorius. Hip extension. The muscle responsible for hip extension is the gluteus maximus. A synergist muscle to that would be the hamstrings. Muscles that are a part of the hamstrings are the biceps femoris, the semitendinosus, and the semimembranosus. Abduction of the hip happens because of the gluteus medius and the gluteus minimus. Remember, always remember, whatever the big brother does, the little brother does. The gluteus minimus follows the gluteus medius. Adduction of the hip is caused or happens because of the adductor group. The adductor brevis, the adductor longus, and the adductor magnus. A synergist muscle to that would be the gracilis. Internal rotators of the hip are the tensor fascia latae, or the gluteus medius and the gluteus minimus. A synergist muscle to that would be the pectineus. External rotators, on the other hand, are the iliopsoas and the gluteus maximus. Moving down to the knee is a hinge joint. Another name for a hinge joint is the ginglymus joint. Knee flexion occurs because of the hamstring group. A synergist to that would be the sartorius muscle. Extension of the knee occurs because of 3 of the muscles of the quadriceps muscle group. These are the rectus femoris, the vastus lateralis, and the vastus medialis. Synergists to these muscles are the IT band and again the tensor fascia latae. The ankle joint is also a hinge joint, but instead of flexion and extension, we refer to these terms as dorsiflexion or plantar flexion. The muscles responsible for dorsiflexion of the ankle joint are the tibialis anterior, the extensor digitorum longus, The extensor hallucis longus assists with the dorsiflexion of the ankle. Muscles responsible for plantar flexion, on the other hand, are the gastrocnemius and the soleus. Muscles that assist with this are the flexor hallucis longus and the flexor digitorum longus. Although the ankle is a hinge joint, other movement at the ankle could take place. The name of these movements are inversion and eversion. Eversion and inversion are basically twisting of the ankle. Eversion takes place when the big toe is on the floor. A key thing to remember is when this happens, breaking bones must take place. Inversion is the opposite, with the big toe off the floor, which is a simple sprained ankle. The muscles responsible for inversion are the tibialis anterior and posterior. Muscles responsible for the eversion of the ankle are the peroneus muscle group. These are the peroneus longus, peroneus brevis, and the peroneus tertius. At the metatarsals, voluntary flexion and extension also takes place. Muscles responsible for flexion of the metatarsals are the flexor digitorum longus and the flexor digitorum brevis. On the other hand, muscles responsible for extension are the extensor hallucis longus, the extensor digitorum longus, and the extensor digitorum brevis. There are two pure forms of motion. There is the linear form of motion and angular form of motion. Linear motion is broken up into two parts. There is rectilinear, which is movement in a straight line, and curvilinear, which is movement along a curve. During these types of movement, a lot of flexion and extension takes place in order for the movement to actually happen. The other pure form of motion is angular motion. Angular motion happens at an axis. All axis points move through a rotation at the same speed and time.